no enemy other than himself, right? And that to me basically means every single day I've got to wake up and I've got to really go against what my natural instinct is. Sometimes it's, I don't want to make the phone calls, or I don't want to do this or that. So that would be that. So as far as everything goes, I'm not going to promise this presentation is going to change your life, but I will promise that I use every single one of these models in what I do every day. And I think that is going to be probably the most beneficial piece of what we're going to be going over today. And so this is straight off the press, so I hope you guys like it. Understanding why I'm up here and who I am. So I got in real estate in 2014. I was 20 years old. I had my first deal thanks to my mom. Shout out to my mom. She referred me over this guy, this family, and we ended up being able to go through the process. I sold that home for $130K. First deal ever. And I was super stoked, right? So the next piece kind of goes into the first 2 years. I went through this process of trying to figure out real estate, trying to go through this, understanding that like not everything is working out the way that I wanted it to, right? The super bill that everybody gets, that was overcharging my account, right? Like that was a real thing that was happening. And the only thing that was really happening in 2014, 2015 was short sales. So I got the whole experience about what real estate actually means to people. And so I think that was a really cool point to add. Since then, I've sold over $80 million in real estate over the past 12 years with me and the team. I've helped over 15 agents grow their business. There's not been a person or an agent that has come into the team that has not left better. I've made that my entire aspect. The next is we've put over 300 families into homes since the beginning. So this is so that you can understand I have experienced a lot of just not the best, right? But I've also experienced what it takes to get to this next level. During the period of time of putting this presentation together, I actually found my 2014 goals. I don't know if you can see them very clearly, but $300 was a big deal to me, right? That was one of the most important things that I was looking for at that time. I was 20 years old. I wanted $300 in my bank account, right? So ideally, just to show you, like, I understand what it's like to go from just having nothing and not having any deals, not having anything, to your first $100,000 or whatever that goal is for you. I get it. So my goal with this is to bring you as much information that you can use and apply today after you leave this class. And then who is this for? That's a great question. This is for anybody who's ever felt lost in this process. Lost in all the hustle and bustle and trying to figure out what is important, what you should be doing, what you should focus on. And that's what this is for. The foundation is based off 6 frameworks: ownership, discipline, the core 4, what you should be doing every day, time management, which is a fun one, law of averages, and then also profit first. Profit first has helped I've had a lot of agents come through the team, lead the team, and do that type of thing. Profit first has been the one thing that I've seen the biggest impact on financial, okay? The first piece here, the first framework is going to be ownership. Ownership is 100% everything that you have got in your life. The only thing you can control is what you do, how you react to things. That aspect is you are 100% responsible for everything in your life, period, point blank. I don't care where you come from, who you are, what you've got to do, what your goals are, you are responsible for those. And a lot of time we can lose sight of that and we can give excuses to things. We can say, well, you know, I can't make phone calls today because I showed up late and da-da-da-da, my car, da-da-da. Ownership of understanding that you run your life. You are in control. And that alone gives you the ability to take control of what you've got to do, right? That gives you ownership of your life and everything around it. Explanation here. So this is a picture of my gym. At the very top of the door, it says good. That is to remind me every single day that no matter what's happening, no matter if I woke up late and I barely got to do a workout, or if I got to do a full workout, or maybe my leg hurts or my back hurts. It doesn't matter. It's good. It's for me. It gives me an opportunity. If I woke up late, I get to use time management today, right? I get to see the importance of what that aspect is. Discipline framework. This is another thing that I've taught and used in my life every single day. And this is not an absolute. Nobody's perfect. The goal is to be able to use discipline every single day that you can, right? You wake up in the morning, and the alarm clock's going off, and you're like, man, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Show of hands, how many people have felt that, right? That's it. That's that first battle of the day, right? Everybody goes through that. There's some people that their alarm goes off, they're up, cool. I have days like that, but it's not every day. My wife here, she knows. Like, I wake up, and then I'm also like, dude, 10 minutes. And that's one of those things that you've got to win that first battle. Everybody has those demons, right? And we've got to learn how to overcome those so that we can apply it to everything else that we're going to go through that day. The third piece that I want to touch on this slide is the 3-task rule. We're going to go through that deeply, and it's going to fall into everything that we're going to go into today. Cool? The discipline formula. To me, discipline is do, plan, consistency, and simple. In that order. A lot of people probably want to plan something before they do it. I've always been do first, plan after, fix it, do the thing that I've got to do. But it has to be do, plan, for me, consistency, and simple. I've got to keep it simple, and I've got to be able to do it repeatedly, right? And so if that's calls, if that's whatever that schedule looks like, it's got to be that for me. So do it, plan it, be consistent, and keep it simple. Cool? The 3-task rule. This is something that I'm sure Brandon still probably uses today. The 3-task rule is having a minimum standard, period. Non-negotiables that you do every single day of your life. If it's work, if it's personal, whatever it is, have your 3-task standard. Put it on a piece of paper so that you can go through it. To me, that's paper, and that's pen and paper. I have an Asana checklist that I go through and stuff like that for more of like team management stuff. But this alone, I'm able to check it off, right? I know that I'm winning. I know that I'm finishing what I'm supposed to be doing. So having that 3 minimum standard, these are mine. 10 contacts a day, record 1 video, and make sure we're posting videos, period. As long as I do that, I know that I've done something for that day, right? As you can see, Friday, last Friday, I got 4 things off my list, right? But those 3 things got finished, right? I got lucky and was able to get 4. Anything that doesn't actually get done that day, you move to the next day. And we will kind of talk about that as well throughout this process. Then we've got the core 4. Are there any questions kind of going through those first 3? No. Cool. The next one is going to be the core 4 formula. This is warm outreach, cold outreach, posting, and then also making content. If you do these 4 things on a regular basis, I promise you, you are going to be getting business coming into you. As far as whatever that is, you will be able to do that. Warm outreach and cold outreach is a 1-to-1. So that's you making the phone calls, contacting people, going to the Starbucks, going to do whatever you need to do to talk to that 1-to-1. Posting and making content is 1-to-many. That is what drives attraction to you, right? We're kind of seeing how that plays out. Cool. Any questions on this? Nope. Cool. The next one is going to be time management. If you've known me for any amount of time, I am not the best at this, but I have to apply it every single day, right? This is one of those things that going through this framework is going to allow you to see where your time goes, what time is, we can understand what time is, and then we can block off for it, we can create systems around it. The time audit is something that it's genuinely probably hell week, right? For you understanding your time. You're going to learn how to go through the process of where is my time going? How am I spending it? Where am I wasting time? What do I need to focus on more? And we'll go into that. Understand that we are time. Anything that we spend time on is an accumulation over the period of our life we become. Right? So if we're always focused on work, we're going to lose out on the personal stuff. If we're always focused on personal stuff, we're losing out on money. Right? Like that. It's a give and take, but understanding how to balance that in the best way possible is what we're trying to achieve. Right? So then we've got time blocking, we've got task management system, which will fall into the 3 task lists. So you can learn how to prioritize tasks. Cool? Any questions on this so far? Cool? So this is the task matrix. This is what I was just talking about. This is going to allow you to be able to build up how to prioritize tasks, right? We have a full task. We have everything that we've got to do for that day. How does it need to be prioritized? Cool? So something that is urgent, important, that is something that we have to do right now. Like there's no excuse. We have to do it right now. We wish we could hold on to it, but we can't. We've got to handle it. So for instance, Curtis, what would be that something that we've got to do before anything else?
Good example is I had an inspection scheduled for this morning, but it wasn't solid that that it was like understood by the other party that they were gonna be there at 9 a.m. today. Mm-hmm. So whenever 8 o'clock hit, the first phone call I made was to the inspection company and to the listing agent, letting her know like, hey, did your client know that Avalon's going to be at their house at 9 o'clock this morning? Right. So that's just one example. There's a fire that we have, that I had to put out.
That's it.
We almost have to put out every day.
That's it. It's those things that pop up. They're just red flags. We've got to handle those. The next one is not urgent but important. These are the things that we decide when they get to happen. We get to schedule those. Zach, what would be a non-urgent but important task? Yep. So those are the things that we're scheduling throughout the day. We know that they got to get done, but they're not right now problems, right? Urgent, not important. Will? That's it. And I'm not dull to the fact that not everybody has somebody that they can delegate something to, right? Sometimes you don't have someone you can delegate to, and so those are the times that we have to separate work and extra, right? The checking of the emails, chasing down signatures, stuff like that needs to happen before we get locked in. That 9 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever that is for you, before we get locked into those things, we need to be able to check the emails then. At lunchtime, we'll check the emails. At the end of the day, we'll check emails, right? We're not doing it throughout the day. Obviously, there's those urgent and important tasks that we've got to check, but that gives you some clarity as far as being able to separate those two things. Now we have non-urgent, not important. We all know what those are. That's the doom scrolling. That's the conversations for no reason. That's the wasting of time. And so ultimately, this is also called the Eisenhower matrix. So if you want to Google it or whatever, check it out. It's a cool matrix. The time audit formula, this is something that I've done in the past with, I did a whole class on it. I have a whole class kind of built out for this one, but this is a quick, rough estimate of how you can go through that in a pretty quick measurement. Like I said, it's kind of a hell week. You set an alarm for every 30 minutes from the time that you are awake to the time that you go to bed. Every 30 minutes, that alarm goes off. Once it goes off, you write down what you just did for that last 30 minutes. And this will give you a full understanding and a full debrief of what your time is being consistent of, right? If we are time, we need to understand what that time is being spent on.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then once that goes off, you're going to start noticing throughout that week, probably by day 2, you're like, oh, that alarm's going off. I'm going to be super cognizant of what I'm doing, right? Your productivity goes up a little bit. So something that has helped me massively, being able to understand how to handle all of that. Cool. Any questions on that? Cool. There's a cool way that you can go into ChatGPT once you finish out the week and just take in like, hey, I'm uploading my time. You can use that prompt if you want to. And it's going to show you like where you're wasting time, what's the more productive time of your day. So then you can start narrowing down and getting some clarity on that. Cool? Any questions? The next one is going to be the law of averages framework. This is one of the things for me, right? This is what allowed me to understand your next 100 days, the day that you after today, what you leave and do, that 100 days, you need to know what to expect. You're gonna have 25 great days. You're gonna have 50 average days. You're gonna have 25 bad days, right? That'll be the next slide. But ultimately, we need to understand that that's what it's going to be. And so how do we manage that? How do we control that? How do we prepare for that? And then understand that we have minimum standards, right? We've got the 3 task rules. We're going to make sure that we hit our minimum standard every single day so that we can start running into the law of averages. So, like it says there, you have 25, 50, 25. That's going to be your next 100 days, more than likely, if we understand the law of averages. So, question to you guys, which one of these, if we made them better, is going to have the most impact over the next 100 days? The bad days, the average days, or the great days?
I would say the bad days.
No, you're 100% correct. A lot of people say great days. They want more great days. So the idea behind that is, you're exactly right. It increases the bottom tier, right? If you increase the bottom tier, it raises the entire equation. So
I think you win your own self-respect too.
mm-hmm.
If you can push through that low energy or just that bad day where you're just mentally not there, and put some wins under your cap, makes you feel really good about you.
That's it. And especially on those bad days,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those bad days is where we kind of get in our feelings. We're just like, man, it's just not going to be a day, right? Car doesn't work, the tire's flat, like whatever the situation is, you're going to have those bad days, man.
Right.
And so being able to say, okay, even though I had the bad day, I hit that minimum standard, period.
Right.
I can now move forward,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so being able to increase those is what it actually comes down to be, because now bad days become average days become good days, great days become absolutely just hitting the gas and running into the damn wall, right? That's the goal. The last slide here, and there's a reason why it's the last slide. The profit first formula, have you guys seen this by a show of hands? Cool. So for those of you that don't know it, how many people have a personal bank account? Sick. How many people have a savings account? Even better. How many people have a Roth IRA? Sick. Okay. And how many people have a tax account? All right. So here's how we're going to go. How many people have an LLC that they get paid through? Okay. All right. This is super applicable. All right. So the idea behind profit first is so that you are taking your profit in the very beginning of everything you do, right? When you get paid, it's going to your profit. Okay. But there's a structure behind this, and there's an allocation behind this. The idea is that you have one main account, which is your income account. That is where all of your commissions go, right? How many times have we gotten a $10,000 paycheck and we're like, man, I can do a lot of cool things, right? Show of hands.
Whoops.
Throwing pins. That's the whole process, right? For me, growing up, as soon as I got a paycheck from real estate, I was like, dude, I got $3,000. I don't have $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Something does, right? And I'm spending that money as soon as it came in. That was just who I was, and that's what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for probably 2, 3, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the point where I was like, dude, I got to figure out something. Like the idea behind I'll just make more money doesn't always apply to if you're spending all of it, right? And I had goals, I had plans that I wanted to do, and I needed to structure something. And this is where this came into play. There's a whole book on it, there's a whole course on it, and I highly recommend if you leave today and you don't have something like this set up, I would recommend getting it something like that set up.
What's the name of the book?
Profit First.
Okay.
So the way that it structures out is you have your main income account. When you hit the direct deposit from the closing attorney, that's where that money goes, right? It goes into one main account, and then it is structured into 4 other accounts. Owner's comp, which is your owner compensation, that's how you get paid. You got your operations account, that's how your business gets paid. Tax account, that's how the government gets paid, because they will get theirs. And then you have your profit account. That's for the fun vacations, the cool whatevers, right? I had an agent that was able to buy an entire Ireland vacation for him and his wife based off of structuring his business this way. Any questions on this so far? Cool? Cool. So this is not something that I created. This is a full book. I would highly recommend getting that book. I'll listen to it on audio. And then you can kind of go through the process of implementing that.
What's
This-
the name of the book?
Profit First.
Just so they know.
Yeah.
I have it on audio.
And so as far as all that goes, it allows you to start allocating funds to different locations, which to me was, I'm not eating off of this big plate where I can just do what I want. I'm now filtering that out into smaller plates, so I'm chewing less and I'm eating less of that money. Cool. And then as far as like the allocation of like percentages of like how much money needs to go here, here, and here, it's all based off of how you have things set up, right? If you have more personal expenses right now, as wherever you're at in business, if you have more personal, focus on putting a little bit more there. If you have a smaller bill account for your business, then you can kind of allocate as needed. But taxes, I would definitely make sure that money's there. And then, which allows you to, at the end of the year, you're not stressing, like you're not filling out you're not doing your taxes and you're like, dang it, where am I gonna find blank amount of money, right? It's already there. It's already structured. And then in some cases, if you did it really good, you have some left over. And then you can, do as you please. Cool. Any questions?